And thank you for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Tropical Storm Harvey continues to ravage southeast Texas as the state's governor orders 1,000 more National Guard members to help. This morning, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is also expected to release water from 2 reservoirs in an attempt to protect downtown Houston. CBN's Jenna Browder has the story.
Harvey has Houston under siege. Torrential rains are engulfing the country's 4th largest city as rising water chases thousands of people to higher ground.
We got you. We got you. Don't worry.
Rescues continued overnight. Dramatic moments like this one caught on camera.
We need help in 5th Ward. We need people here to evacuate people. Get people here now before they die.
With more than 56,000 calls in less than 24 hours, the 911 system is being overrun. Many people say they can't even get through. The geography is a big part of the problem as rainwater is forced onto the streets, then into bayous easily overwhelmed by heavy downpours. Buffalo Bayou runs through the middle of Houston and looks like this, 15 feet over flood stage, a level never seen before. In League City, southeast of Houston, an astounding 30 inches of rain has fallen. And the storm is not letting up. Forecasters say some areas could see as much as 50 inches before it passes. An event of this magnitude, rare to say the least. President Trump tweeting, "Now experts are calling Harvey a once-in-500-year flood. We have an all-out effort going on and going well." First responders and Good Samaritans are working around the clock, trying to keep up with all of the cries for help. Those rescued often left with nothing.
It's like memories that get taken away by something that you don't expect. But I mean, it's all just materialistic stuff.
President Trump monitored the situation from Camp David over the weekend. He says he's ready to travel to Texas as soon as he can without causing disruption. The White House says the trip will happen on Tuesday. Jenna Browder, CBN News.
The one-time Category 4 hurricane known as Harvey may now just be a tropical storm, but it is still a deadly situation for most of Texas. Harvey has claimed at least 2 lives and continues to pound the state with heavy rain and strong wind. CBN's national security correspondent Eric Rosales has been tracking the storm on the ground in Texas.
With no electricity, members of Rock City Church in Flower Bluff, Texas, which is right next door to Corpus Christi, still gathered for Sunday's service. They used the power of God to lighten up their hearts and their minds and turn to God for help during this trying time.
So the work never stops for us as Christians. We know that. And we just get leaner and meaner. And we shine brighter and brighter in a dark world.
It's that faith of Christ that brought many literally out of the storm.
My church is barely standing anymore. It's the church got demolished. Our high school, it took a pretty big beating. I'm actually headed back over there as soon as I get some more diesel. Headed over there to Rockport right now, see if we can't help out a little bit more.
Late Friday evening, the Category 4 hurricane slammed into the Texas coastline hard, bringing howling 130-mile-per-hour winds combined with sheets of rain to cities like Rockport and Port Aransas, just a few miles north of Corpus Christi, where hundreds of thousands of homes are without power and residents are forced to boil their water before drinking it.
It didn't get real until the wind started howling, and then you kind of sit there and go, this is really happening. There's nothing we can do. So we huddled up in the living room and hunkered down and just said some prayers, and luckily everything held up on our end.
But not for everyone. The storm has taken lives and snapped power poles like toothpicks, flipped boats as if they were toys, and left a path of destruction. Although Harvey quickly lost steam as it made landfall, dropping from a Category 4 to a tropical storm, it stalled, bringing dozens of tornadoes in and around Houston. This is what happens when you get too much water too fast. This is the freeway behind me. Yes, a freeway. It's at least 10 feet of water. Houston police say at least one woman died after she tried to get out of her car too fast due to the rising floodwaters and drowned.
And Lord, I just pray for this church as they begin to go out and share the love of Jesus, just like they did today, Father.
Now relief is on the way. CBN's own Operation Blessing is gearing up, talking and praying with local pastors on where to bring food and other non-perishables.
Our equipment is pre-staged in Beaumont, Texas, just a few hours away. So when the roads are clear and the power lines are up, Operation Blessing will be moving in.
And that was Eric Rosales reporting. Right now, the mode has switched from surviving the hurricane to providing relief to those who need it. Now, if you would like to learn more about helping those impacted by the hurricane, simply visit ob.org. North Korea is back to carrying out its ballistic missile test. Friday night, the regime launched 3 missiles. 2 flew for about 150 miles, and the other reportedly blew up. They did not threaten the U.S. or Guam, but they could strike U.S. military bases in South Korea. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says regardless of the actual threat, the tests are unacceptable.
Well, the firing of any ballistic missile is a violation of UN Security Council resolutions. And we do view it as a provocative act, a provocative act against the United States and our allies. We continue to want the Kim regime to understand there is a different path that he can choose. The international community has been quite clear with the unanimous 15-0 approval of the UN Security Council resolution imposing the most stringent sanctions ever to be imposed on North Korea.
The tests coincide with joint U.S. and South Korean military exercises in the South. President Trump is still taking hits for pardoning former Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio late Friday night. Arpaio was convicted of criminal contempt for refusing to turn detained illegal immigrants to federal immigration authorities. The president's latest criticism comes from Vice President Joe Biden. He wrote in an Atlantic article, "The president's contempt for the U.S. Constitution and willingness to divide this nation knows no bounds. Now, he's pardoned a law enforcement official who terrorized the Latino community, violated its constitutional rights." The president continues to receive backlash from his comments on the events in Charlottesville as well. The president's team has held talks in both Tel Aviv and Ramallah. President Trump's advisors, Jared Kushner and Jason Greenblatt, met separately with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. But one thing they didn't mention publicly was the idea that a peace plan would include what's called the two-state solution. That would involve the creation of a Palestinian state. Not mentioning it raises doubts that the idea will be on the table in future discussions. Americans say it's ultimately up to the Israelis and Palestinians to make peace, and not the U.S. President Trump is pressing ahead with the Israeli-Palestinian peace process, but visiting U.S. congressmen say the situation on the ground is not what it seems. CBN's Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl is on this story.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Trump advisors Jared Kushner and Jason Greenblatt in Tel Aviv.
We have a lot of things to talk about. How to advance peace, stability, and security in our region, prosperity too. And I think all of them are within our reach.
The president is very committed to achieving a solution here that will be able to bring prosperity and peace to all people in this area.
While Netanyahu's office described the talks as constructive and substantive, U.S. Congressman Mac Thornberry told CBN News the U.S. may need to rethink the solution.
The key fundamental point is that what we have always believed, that there has to be a two-state solution, that Israel can be more secure if it trades off some land, that would become a Palestinian state. Those assumptions are really in doubt, are being questioned. And some of the questions are, what's in the best interest of the people?
Protesting Palestinians expressed their displeasure ahead of Kushner's meeting with President Mahmoud Abbas.
We are totally unhappy that this American administration has conducted no pressure on Israel to stop settlement activities that are killing any potential for peace.
Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria remain one of the thorniest issues in the Israeli-Palestinian dispute. Senator James Lankford told CBN News that worldwide perception of growth in the region is inaccurate.
A lot of the growth, just population growth, what some people call settlements, is really just new people born and new houses need to be built. So there's a lot of those new neighborhoods that are coming up, as well as expansion of existing neighborhoods, just to support the population of so many Jews moving from around the world still to Israel, as well as those that are born here, just needing new places.
And Lankford says there's more that you don't see in the media.
In just a couple of years since I've been in the Samaria area, for instance, there's been a tremendous amount of growth in factories and development. Many of those factories popping up in that area have Israelis and Palestinians working together side by side.
Thornberry hopes there's change ahead.
If we are creative and think outside the box, maybe that there are new possibilities, and that's in everybody's best interest, especially the people who live in Israel and in the West Bank area.
Both congressmen made it clear it's ultimately up to the Israelis and Palestinians to make peace, not the U.S. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Still ahead, a college president with a trigger warning for incoming students. This is not a safe space, and it's not supposed to be. He'll explain why. Well, it is the end of August and many high school graduates are heading off to college for the very first time. But what they learn when they get there may alarm their parents. Our Emily Jones has more.
Safe spaces, trigger warnings, and microaggressions. Welcome to college life in America.
The new school year is here, and students are packing up and leaving home expecting to learn about the real world. Except when they get there, they're oftentimes met with an atmosphere that feels more like a daycare instead of an institute of higher learning.
Instead of openly debating challenging ideas, students are turning to intellectual safe spaces or trigger warnings to avoid hearing, seeing, or reading anything they disagree with. We asked college students what they think about these trends. Responses ranged from supportive to skeptical.
Like, we want people to feel comfortable, and we want people to not go around and be like, people are making me upset. People are really disagreeing with what I believe in.
I don't think it's a good idea. I feel like people need to express themselves.
Students who take safe spaces and trigger warnings to the extreme are willing to protest, harass, and even bar speakers they don't like from campus. Take Ben Shapiro, for example. He recently testified to Congress about this growing safe space culture creeping on our college campuses.
All of our views should be judged on their merits, not on the color or sex or sexual orientation of the speaker, and those views should never be banned on the grounds that they offend someone.
Even Christian colleges are not immune. Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University, writes about it in his new book, Not a Daycare: The Devastating Consequences of Abandoning Truth. Emily Jones, CBN News.
And joining me now is Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University and author of Not a Daycare. Thank you so much for being here.
For my pleasure.
Pleasure. Now, in your book, you give some examples of some, I guess, outrageous student behavior. Students seeking compensation for emotional labor, asking for time off after the trauma of this year's election. The list goes on and on. What's fueling this?
Terrible ideas, terrible education. Richard Weaver wrote a work in 1948. It was titled Ideas Have Consequences, a seminal work. What was his point? Ideas have consequences. Yes. Ideas matter. And when you teach bad ideas, you get bad culture, bad kids, bad community, bad government, and bad behavior. You teach good ideas, you get the opposite. And what we're seeing right now is, frankly, Barack Obama's pastor was right. The chickens are coming home to roost. We've taught terrible ideas, self-absorption and narcissism, for example, for decades. And why in the world are we surprised to see self-absorbed and narcissistic students pouting, complaining, and protesting in the campus green?
It's frustrating, I tell you. We're seeing a surge of students, as you mentioned, participating in what they're calling activism for civil rights on campus. As a black man myself, when I think about civil rights, I think about the struggle of my ancestors who, were tortured, beaten, you name it. Do you think the students are a bit confused at what the civil rights fight looks like?
Absolutely. In other words, you can't have justice without a judge. And you can't have a book without an author. You can't have a painting without a painter. The students have been taught that it doesn't matter what you believe as long as it works for you. They've been taught moral and intellectual nihilism. They've been taught that they create everything, that there is no author, there is no painter, there is no writer, and there is no definer, there is no definition of truth other than what they decide. It's It's narcissism to the max. They gaze into the pool, the image of their iPhone, their Facebook, their social media. They construct their own reality, their own morality, their own ideas. And if you don't agree, with their conclusions, you are a bigot, you're a hater. You are the problem. It's ideological fascism. It's not academic freedom, because they will crush you, they will suppress you because you dare to be different.
Let's talk about safe spaces and trigger warnings. Is there ever a place for these on college campuses?
No. Let me quote C.S. Lewis. He told us that the great lion Aslan was not safe, but that he's good. The great lion Aslan was said to be not safe, but good. Well, let's paraphrase that and suggest this. The great lion of the liberal arts, the great lion of the university, the college, the great lion of the ivory tower is not supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be good. There's a huge difference between safe education and good education. I would argue the latter is what it's supposed to be, and the previous one, safe education, is an oxymoron.
I agree with you there. What are some solutions to create real change and to get universities back on track?
We need to return. The subtitle to my book is The Devastating Consequences of Abandoning what? Truth. Jesus told us, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Opinions always lead to bondage and slavery. Truth sets us free. Pol Pot and Mao and Robespierre and Chavez and Hitler and Mussolini, all the despots of history had opinions, and it didn't end well. Jesus said, truth sets us free. There is no freedom without the context of those self-evident truths that are endowed to us by our Creator. The Apostle Paul called it the truth of God written on every human heart. That needs to be the goal of the academy, not just propping up your opinion or mine.
Real quick, I've got a son about to go to college for the first time. What advice do you have for college students about standing firm on their Christian beliefs and the tips you can give them to speaking truth in love?
Well, I would give you advice as a parent. You and your son should pull aside the college president before you choose to pay to go there. And if he won't meet with you, don't go there. You're paying too much money to be ignored. Pull the president aside and ask him two simple questions, and then just be quiet and listen. And those two questions are this. What's your view of Scripture, and what's your view of truth? Is Scripture the inerrant Word of God, and is truth a revelation of God? If he says that, go there. If he doesn't, don't waste your money.
All right, that is some great advice. Dr. Everett Piper, author of Not a Daycare. Great read, trust me. We'll give you a headache at some points, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was an honor.
Honored.
Up next, from Christian leaders to world changers, Regent University is growing and expanding. Find out how the school is now beefing up its athletic program as well. Regent University wants its students to become Christian leaders and change the world. Well, now that challenge will reach the athletic field as well. The school's new athletic program includes sports ranging from track and field to cheerleading. Emily Jones is back to explain how the teams will carry a bold new name as well.
It was a historic celebration as Regent University debuted its new athletics program and team name, the Regent Royals.
I'm very excited. We're the first Regent cheerleading team. We're the first Regent athletic team.
Athletic director Roger Cheeks pointed out Regent Royals is more than a catchy name. It comes straight out of the Bible.
1 Peter 2:9, we are chosen people. We are of a royal priesthood. We are God's people, and we really see the hand of God in the athletic program.
This fall, students will compete in soccer, cross country, volleyball, and cheerleading. But these sports would not have been possible without the hard work of the track and field athletes who pioneered the program last year.
That hard work includes a year of early morning practices in the school parking lot, national competitions, and teamwork.
They had the mindset and the heart of just family and servanthood and just pure excitement, and they were very humble to be able to represent the university.
That same spirit of excellence and perseverance will be the goal for future athletes as the program expands.
Go Regents! We train Christian leaders to change the world. So when we brought on athletics, it's just another extension, another stream of society that we can now be influential in Christian leadership to change the world.
Regent University's athletic program may have small beginnings, but it has a big future as students train to glorify God on and off the field. Emily Jones, CBN News.
And congratulations to Regents to yet another accomplishment. Stay with us. There's much more of CBN NewsWatch ahead. It's time now for your Monday motivation. And remember this, while you sleep in slumber and miss alarms, God is always on time, never late, never early. So be encouraged, because while you wait for your prayers to be answered, God is working for you. And that is a wrap for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about always at cbnnews.com. We'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that by emailing newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us right here next time. Make this a marvelous Monday. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Terry Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. My husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphans Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.